Welcome to YouTube Meta with Loyal Spin, Anyone, and the Catty Cough. Today's topic is what drives popular YouTubers and the effect on the platform. So, let's go ahead and get into this.
Alright, this is Anyone, and I'm going to just give you guys a little bit of an introduction as to what we're going to be talking about before the podcast begins. So, nowadays, you really can't get away from YouTube at all. Practically everyone around the world has utilized the video sharing service, with 8 to 10 Americans of any age or gender or creed having used the app at least once a month on average. However, people nowadays really don't understand the explosion that has been the last 3 years for YouTube and how much has changed throughout. Back in June 2015, only 2 videos had 1 billion views, which were the massive hit Baby by Justin Bieber and the really first true worldwide hit, which was Gangnam Style by Psy. But in a little less than 4 months after Gangnam Style came out, that amount jumped up to 10 videos through the platform. And even though the platform's been around since 2006, and now in 2008, every single of the top 100 videos has at least 1 billion views. So it's kind of incredible to see the dramatic change from just a few years. This kind of success on the platform has attracted people of all sorts to participate in putting their content on the site, and a sizable portion finding some sort of success, from massive media corporations and celebrities to preteens lip singing and anything in between at all. This all adds up to people uploading up to 300 hours of video per minute on the site, which is crazy. And unfortunately or fortunately, how you see it, a lot of that content will never get watched at all without a little bit of luck or a following from somewhere. However, despite all of the massive amount of content being uploaded and the money many corporations has poured into YouTube, especially recently, and even though people think that they've stopped because of the adpocalypse or anything, the amount of independent YouTubers that have become successful has never been higher. Approximately 6,500 of them have 1 million subscribers since April of 2018. And from 2016 to 2017, YouTube stated they had a 75% increase in number of creators with 1 million subscribers. So people are still, throughout the world, getting popular on the platform. The majority of these channels are personality based, and many, especially the newer channels, are more infamous. Maybe they're more dramatic, causing drama and everything else, and usually popular with kids under 13. And typically they also follow trends, which we'll get into the podcast. Many people know about this, but how does the content of the most popular YouTubers now that you see compare to what was popular in the days that YouTube was created in 2005 and later on as the platform has evolved? How has the drive and quality changed since AdSense became a thing on YouTube in 2008, and people could finally make a living off it as well? In this podcast, we're going to answer these questions and more, and analyze the type of YouTubers that were the most successful in specific time periods, and what it was that drove these particular creators to make videos, what kind of trends and contents they made to stay relevant, and how has this affected the platform, and how has the platform affected the creators for better or for worse. Okay. So that's just my little intro to it. So, like I said before in that little intro, 2005 was the year that YouTube was created, right? And for a while on YouTube wasn't monetized at all. Therefore, people either had to make money in kind of strange ways. Either they would have to link back to their website where they would sell, maybe a mug or a t-shirt, or maybe they would... Actually, a lot of them didn't even want to make money for the most part, especially back in 2005.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was all about just kind of the notoriety of being famous on the internet?
Even so 2005 in particular, people didn't even have that concept yet. YouTube was basically just it was basically just like a repository for any kinds of videos that were already popular, like on TV or movies or other websites. And it
was like Imgur for videos.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, and I think I talked to you guys before about this, but YouTube was very well known in 2005 for being a site of softcore porn. So, like, legitimately, I think I have a screenshot that we'll have in the podcast where it shows like the top viewed videos at the end of 2005, and literally, like, it's kind of weird. It, like, one of them's called Hentai 101. One of them was called just Sex. Nothing like nothing else to it. One of them was called Watch These Boobies Jiggle. But yeah, they'll be in the video there, so just to make sure that you guys believe me there. But it was weird. The internet was made for porn at that time, so people didn't have that. They didn't even think about like making stuff. Like at most, sometimes they would put in like talk show like clips or something else, but nothing a person made at all.
Okay, so when did they move past this, would you say?
So I think it took them a year. So I think in 05 as well, really the only channel that was created that really made content on the regular was Smosh, which they're the like everything I'm going to talk about, like Smosh may have been the exception to all of it because they've literally been around since like the first 2 months of the platform, and they really haven't changed how they've done things too much. Beyond that, a lot of other people in 2006 started catching on, but it wasn't the kind of content that was really good either. Because like I said before, like especially back in the days, YouTube wasn't regulated at all. It was made by like these 3 dudes who didn't really have that much of a moderation team. So basically anything besides outright nudity was on the platform. But in 06, there was like a few personalities that started making content and people started subscribing. And this is also the first time you actually could see subscriber counts. But this is actually really, it's kind of weird to see who some of the top people were because the names are going to just sound like something like some TV show would make fun of, like about YouTubers. But they were, the 3 of the main big people, and I can get into it, were called Filthy Whore.
Okay, classy.
Yep, Gay God.
Nice.
And Sexy Bebe 23. And this is like, you would think
I love it.
Yeah, like you would think I'm making fun of it. No, this is legitimately their username. This is really, I don't know. Like I said, like early YouTube was extremely sexualized, and that's really what got popular for the most part. And it's specifically for Filthy Whore, what she was. I kind of consider her like the what's the name to call the girls on Twitch who showed their tits? Or do they have a specific name?
Camp girls?
Camp girls, right? Is that what they're mostly called?
Oh, it's a cam girl is like implied they specifically doing it for porn, I think.
Yeah, there's like I want
Titty streamers?
Titty stream. There you go. That's the word. So she was the birth of titty streamers. Her and Sexy Bebe 23. Sexy Bebe 23 though was just this blonde chick who would twerk, and she got up to like the 5th most subscribed channel of 6. That's literally all she had to do. But like Filthy Whore, what she would do is she would have it. She was like the originator of just having the webcam on, sitting down, and she would make fun of other YouTubers. And the worst part of what she would do, because people were trying to find a way to make money on the platform, was she would beg people to donate to her PayPal. And that's a big, like, it kind of was like the Patreon of the time, I guess, but not really, because she didn't do anything besides like make fun of other YouTubers. It's kind of a weird concept. But this is like the thing, these people still exist nowadays, kind of. But it's like she was like number 1 on the platform for a little bit. Like, and that's kind of insane to me. Gay God was I think you saw one of the videos. I don't know if we want to. Yeah. So it was just.
We could show that video right now.
Yeah. A lot of just like, I don't know. The gay community has always been really strong on the internet. Like even back in 05, there was something. 05, 06, there was something on YouTube called Groups. And basically, like I was saying before, because YouTube was really like sexualized, 9 out of the 10 biggest groups on YouTube were based off either like gay wrestling or sexy girls, or just like the most generic thing you could. It's basically like Pornhub. Think Pornhub. But yeah, so you can see like what this kid would do was just he would put in some music and he would start dancing to it. It was not anything. How do I say? It wasn't anything super creative at all, right? It was just
seems like he also had inspirational messages too.
Oh, he did?
I mean, just the video I watched.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was definitely something. But yeah, this was kind of like the bad part of YouTube not being able to be a profitable thing, right? Because if YouTube isn't profitable, anything could get popular. At the same time, in 2007, there was a lot of other things coming in as well that were really cool on YouTube. The big thing with money on the internet is that you typically had to follow trends, right? You need to be able to know what is popular, what is being like put on the recommended channel more. What does the algorithm want to see, and how can I make my content try to fit to it? But before 2008, which is what I guess what I'm trying to say, you didn't really have to think of that. That's why you have there's a huge nostalgia factor for a lot of people our age for the internet around that time period, right? That are really like a lot of videos that we know that are like that we all like recognize, like the evolution of dance, the Pokemon theme song by Smosh, and the two Chinese boys. Which I guess we could show a clip of that as well. But it was just it wasn't anything crazy, like super like creative content, but it was like you can tell those guys made that just because they wanted to. And and there was a lot of things like that, like the Numa guy and everything else. People just, there was no benefit to doing those videos. It wasn't like a way of living, but they were just like, fuck it, I want to do this. So I think that was like a really big thing with, at the same time as what I was just talking about with the other three people. At the same time, you also saw, I don't want to say it's like more authentic content, because people make really good shit nowadays as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that it was something that like, those guys are just like fucking around, and that's really cool to see that got like Evolution of Dance and Pokemon theme song respectively are the videos that have been on top of YouTube for the longest time, including there's a music video I'm missing right now. It may be Gangnam Style that was on #1 for a while, but like everybody knew those like when we were kids as well, as if you went on YouTube obviously, but yeah. Like, do you guys know any other videos in general that you can remember from back in the days that were kind of like that?
Before, because we were kids during this time, right?
Yeah.
YouTube didn't really have like a large kids community that caters to that specifically, so it was interesting because I feel like we really grew up in this raunchy generation too.
Yeah.
Just because like Charlie the Unicorn was like a cartoon that was on YouTube, and that made it cool. Shoes was on YouTube, and people were crazy about that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's the cool thing about the internet. Without any filters, kids were able to see everything. Like, so nothing was a surprise. Nowadays, I guess you can still see. No, that's the thing. Nowadays, there's, like you were saying, there's content curtailed to younger people, and typically, if they're not too adventurous, they don't have to like go too far. But like, especially as a kid on YouTube, like you just saw everything. Like you were just mentioning all those videos, and like different animations from like that were put on YouTube from Newgrounds and everything else that were pretty big as well.
Yeah, that was like, as a kid, the only thing I can remember coming back constantly to YouTube for was Smosh.
Yeah, dude.
That was it, and that was the closest thing I guess I can say to there being like a YouTube Kids in the past.
Yeah, dude, Smosh was. Like it's incredible. Like we can make a whole podcast just on them alone, because people like, especially once we became like, I feel like a lot of people once they hit like 13, 14, they just hated Smosh because like, oh, that's what I watched as when I was a little kid. But it's kind of crazy. Like we were 2005, we were like 10. Now all of us are like 22, 23 respectively. Like, and they're still like I think right now they're like the 4th or 5th most subscribed channel that isn't like a large corporation or Vivo. And I think that's insane. That's 15 years of being on. There's nothing. I don't think there's many things like that on the internet in general. So there's like respect to them for being able to actually survive that long. But yeah. So I guess we can go on to 2007, and as the time went on, more of the familiar YouTube content that we know of, maybe not the same people, obviously not the same people, but the kind of like categories that we place YouTubers in began to like form. So there were skit channels like Smosh, and like Nigahiga that started being made. There was also, and that's probably what we probably all were more inclined to watch more of the comedy stuff on YouTube. But like doing my research for this podcast, I realized there's so many different communities that I never touched at all because there was just nothing that interested me. But there was also like independent singers on YouTube as well that rose up to like the 5th most subscribed, the 6th most subscribed as well, and that made that's probably like the highlight of their career, and a lot of people knew them. And also in 2007, that was the birth of what I call the quirky webcam vlogger. And I think we all know what those guys are, where they're just like, hey guys, they have like cut jumps like every couple of seconds, and they're just talking about random stories that no one really gives a shit about, but because they say it so energetically, especially for little kids, they fucking eat that shit up, right?
Yeah. I think you should note though, I was watching the videos you showed, and it was really interesting because it's basically the same stuff, but the editing has gotten like 10 times better. Production
value, not like, this is the big thing with YouTube now. Production value is insane for most of them because there's money involved. But it doesn't mean it's any good, like in terms of the content. Because people back in 2007 were doing the exact same shit. Just like, hey guys, so today I had a pretty rough day. It was horrible. Like something like that, where they were just like, they do different voices, the cut jumps and everything else. But it was just that now you can get like lights on your vlogs. The webcams are in 4K and all that kind of fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think one in particular, there's a guy, I think that I like to point out one video of his, is the wine cone. He, in particular, I think he may have been the very first to revolutionize like that kind of content, like very energetic, like a bunch of like energy thrown at you, cut jumps and everything else. And I know I repeat that, but like as we go on with the podcast, I'm going to bring up examples of YouTubers that are maybe like not inspired specifically, but followed that category and maybe evolved a little bit, but mostly they kind of copied this dude. And this guy, because of that, let me look at my stuff. He got up to like 4th or 5th most subscribed as well during the year of 2007. And it's not, but that's the thing. Like, right, like think about what I've mentioned to you before. There wasn't that much competition in terms of like quality content, right?
That's true, and video cameras were still kind of hard to probably come by. Now everyone just has one in their phone.
Yeah, in the quality of the cameras were like, it was 2040p at most. It was bad. But like I said, because he was one of the first people to do that, and because that content is really easy to, I will get into this more, but like being able to make content like daily or on a bi-daily basis is how a lot of these guys got big. And he was one of the first, like, besides Smosh, who, well, I guess back in the day was more weekly, right? But being able to produce that stuff over and over, that's what, and it's very easy to do as vlogs. So that's how him starting that and other people copying became a pretty large thing.
That makes sense. That's kind of what I loved about the video game era of YouTube, just because you could go and watch your 3 channels that you really enjoyed their content, and they'd each have a new video or 2 every day, like Game Grumps and 2 Best Friends Play.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're definitely, like, with video games. So, you know, definitely, when we get around 2012, 2013, there's video games, like, basically YouTube was video games for a while. And it was kind of crazy. But yeah, anyways, regarding, also, I wanted to mention too, like, back in 2006, there was a guy, I think I've told you about him, Kyle, a bit, but there's a guy named Geriatric 1927, and it kind of shows you how, like, anything interesting on YouTube, if it was truly interesting, and because there wasn't that much content and people trying to fill up with quantity over quality, those people got pretty big pretty fast as well as with the other people who may have been doing sexualized content and everything else. But this dude was an 80-year-old World War II veteran who basically told his story about his life in general, and he would make just little vlogs. It was also a crappy webcam, but he would just sit there, and because YouTube videos were restricted to 10 minutes at a time, he would just make these videos about telling about different stories that were pretty, like, honestly really cool, because he was a radio engineer actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so he got up. He was the most subscribed YouTuber on for at least a couple of months in 2006, because people were like, "Wow, this is cool. This is like just an interesting thing to listen to in general." And before then, like YouTube. Thing is, like, we know about like a bunch of viral hits, but there was not that many content creators, right? So when you had somebody actually be able to tell a story that brought people back, that really, like, especially back in these days, that was pretty interesting in general. But yeah, that's just a little tidbit. Like, an 80-year-old dude was the #1 subscribed YouTuber for a pretty, like, a couple months. So
that's really interesting, because, okay, so today's YouTube, we don't see viral hits nearly as often. It's really content creator dominated.
There's no, I think it's a lot. You're right. It's extremely content creator. YouTube nowadays, like, I feel like I'm only going to try to talk to like 2016 for this. Nowadays, YouTube is so fucking big, dude. There are viral hits, like things that get millions of views. But because there's other things that have billions, nothing is going to... Viral used to mean like #1 thing ever made on YouTube. That was the difference between what viral was then versus now. Now it's just like you hit like 5 million views. That's, people consider that viral because at that point that made money. But viral back in the days, like, it had the emphasis on this is the biggest thing we've ever seen. And like, I'm gonna go into, like, we're still very early on into like this YouTube stuff with the popular YouTubers. Some of these guys rose like in a minute. Like, it's insane. Like, I'll get into like Fred and PewDiePie in a little bit, but just due to different factors, they, like, it took like a month for them to be the biggest YouTuber in, I don't know. But yeah, we'll get into that as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, yeah, I kind of had also, I don't know if I want to talk about this concept too much, but also in 2007, YouTube had a weird thing. So they were bought by Google by 2007, right?
Okay.
So one of the big first things that Google tried to push for YouTube, they wanted to make it a political platform, I guess. And they honestly, like, looking back through it, they did a pretty good job at it. Like, for the 2008 elections, which Obama won. Like, they co-hosted a town hall with CNN very early on, and then they would have like the different candidates like make videos that would actually answer like YouTube commenters' questions, or they would invite YouTube commenters to the town halls to ask the questions and then ask what the reply was. It was like extremely weird because nowadays you don't, like, most politicians wouldn't touch the internet with like they would only use Twitter because they can control how their message is like portrayed, I guess. But especially like in '08, like a huge thing where you would watch what the political opinions was on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, which I don't know. Like, I feel like that'd be pretty cool if we had it nowadays. Where, but yeah. But regardless, that's also kind of a bit boring, in general. Also, like, political comedy was a thing back then as well. I don't know if you remember. There was a channel called Barely Political that got pretty popular. Like,
Barely Political was a thing.
Yeah, like their biggest thing was the Obama girl weird music video. Yeah, they were strange. It had nothing to do with politics, but people like they use clickbaiting with like a hot girl and also politics to get views. But that's the thing, because YouTube can just be weird in that kind of situation, right? Because you can just, like, if you can just combine the right two things, then you can get a bunch of people like funneling in to see. But yeah. All right, so 2008. So in 2008, the big thing and a big reason why I kind of like split this off between on '08 is because AdSense became a thing, right?
Okay.
So AdSense and different algorithm changes on YouTube, and maybe a few videos that came out, are like the biggest changes into how YouTube operated in general. Obviously, because now in '08 there is the potential to actually make a living off of YouTube. So that's going to change how people's drives are, like, in terms of what they want to make. For better or for worse, you can say, because there's more money put into production, obviously, because the thing that looks nicer and everything else would be better. But because people invest money, they want a safe return. And if you really want a safe return, a lot of YouTubers know they're just like, okay, there's these things, there's trends that people like, or there's this one video that did really popular. I can do one that's just like that. So this is where we start seeing an evolution of the content that was made. There's always, like, throughout the history of YouTube, there's always like people capturing funny, crazy, weird moments of their life, and they put it on YouTube, or like cute things that they see, like people always go back to cat videos, right? With YouTube, they're like, oh, that's where all the cat videos are uploaded. No, but like, that's YouTube. It's always gonna have its place as a video repository that isn't like people producing content. So that's why you always knew for like cat videos, or I don't know, whatever you want to see, like just these generic things where it isn't somebody like directing it or trying to read a script or be funny or anything. It's just there. But now with 08, it made it so you can like now add these things like this, like the entertainment industry into the content, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying before, because of that, like 08 was probably one of the weirdest years on YouTube, because because there was this chance of making money, it made a lot of mainstream stars that like really appealed to little kids start making vlogs for YouTube in general. And these were like big Disney stars like Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, and the Jonas Brothers. Like all these guys you see on like the TV show, they decided out of nowhere in 08 to, quote unquote, why would they join? Because of the money, obviously. But they joined YouTube, and like in a matter of like weeks, they became like top 5 most subscribed. It was very, very easy.
Which is crazy. I was watching the video, and they're really nothing special.
Of course,
it's just the celebrities.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of weird to see though. Like, there were kids, and they were like, you can kind of tell they didn't want to do it. They're just like, hi there, we're here, we're doing stuff. Thank you for watching my music videos. Bye. But like, just because of that, they like literally instantly they were like top. But the first person on YouTube, I would say, is the first YouTube star that originated from the platform was you probably remember him, is Fred.
Yep, everyone remembers Fred.
What do you remember about Fred, dude?
God, I remember just a bunch of kids in school being like, "Oh, Fred!" And I was like, "What?" And then a bunch of people started imitating some high-pitched voice, and I thought like a demon was going around school. Fucking
yeah. No, for 100%. It was. I hated it back in the day too. It was that fucking voice, that high pitched.
It was the voice.
Yeah, but I was saying before, like it was it. So Fred made his channel in 08 and just started making these little stories like Fred goes, dresses up for Halloween. Fred goes to the pool or stuff like that, and kind of what I was telling you before with the Disney stars in 08, 09, a lot of kids that maybe didn't like the internet beforehand or didn't know about it. I feel like us three in particular, we knew about the internet for a while, but like a lot of kids around 08, 09 started like, oh, let me check this out. Maybe I'll see my favorite Disney star. But
right.
But now they go on and they saw this one kid and they were like, oh my god, he's so quirky and crazy and random like me. So he literally made like, I think it took him 3 months. And he like passed Smosh as the most subscribed channel on YouTube because of like the onpouring of. And the thing is, he also, it is kind of strange about the guy. His name is Lucas, but he did this all himself. It wasn't. He would upload videos weekly. The story about behind Fred is kind of dark, actually. Well, like how he read it, because it's supposed to be like a abused kid whose dad wasn't there and his mom was a complete alcoholic. So it's like, it's kind of crazy for like a 13-year-old to think of that concept. But like,
well,
yeah,
I think he's about our age, right?
Yeah, he's around our age.
Could this be partially because of like if he's a YouTuber and he got huge, he was probably watching YouTube for a while. He could have seen like similar content to us, and that kind of informed his creative decisions behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like 100%. Obviously it wasn't, even though he was our age, it wasn't content though that really appealed to people like kids our age at that point. I think we're around like 13, 14 around the time as well. it seemed like it was a cool, like, it was a creative decision, and it's cool that a teenager did, but it truly appealed like to like young girls, or maybe very young, like 5-6 year old guys, or maybe like that kind of audience, right? It was very like yeah, you watch one of the videos, right? Like, think about yourself at age 13. You wouldn't watch Fred. You didn't like Fred, I'm assuming.
That's true. Now, my question is, do you think that he had a large emo community because his life and story was so bad?
Yeah, but he passed it off as comedy. He didn't pass it off as dread. Right?
That's true.
So I feel like I understand what you're getting from there, but he was trying to be comedic, and for the most part, a lot of kids loved it. Like, he turned that like a good like 1.5 2 year stint as one of the top YouTubers into 3 movies produced by Nickelodeon, and then like a series, and he starred in a bunch of other, like, he was a guest star in Hannah Montana and Miley Cyrus. So he was that audience, but like he was self-made by YouTube, I guess what I'm trying to say. It wasn't like the mainstream trying to media trying to, I hate to say mainstream media, but you know what I mean. But like, it wasn't them trying to get into the platform. It was just this kid. So that's the cool part about him. But yeah. I guess like, I guess we can go into 2009. So then we see 2009. A lot of those mainstream like people started leaving the platform, probably because their managers realized, hey, this isn't making that much money, which it wasn't comparatively. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a waste of time for them. But then you start seeing channels I think we all know of becoming like top channels, like Niga Higa, Sexy Phil, which is the Philip DeFranco show now, and like and like the beginnings of Ray William Johnson, becoming like top 10 most subscribed channels. And also the big thing like in 2009 was networks started becoming a thing. So like business came like originated from YouTube started like getting into the platform as well. The first one being Maker Studio, which was it was like a bunch of very popular YouTubers. We may have a clip here about that I included in the playlist, but that I'll share to you guys in a bit. But it was like it was Shane Dawson, Shay Caro, Lisa Nova, Sexy Phil, like some of the like basically like think about like the biggest 20 YouTubers, and like they basically came together and say, we're gonna make a business.
Okay,
right.
And is that to be like, so that if someone was having like a rough month, they would be covered?
No, what it was, it made it so the biggest reason why they made that is for collaborations. Here, like networks are what like made collaborations like begin, basically, because what it made it so that people had a like motive to like move together closer into specific areas, and obviously these specific areas were Los Angeles, maybe New York, like the bigger cities. So then after that, they can make collabs with other YouTubers, and they also could get like help with production value, because still 2009 production value wasn't good at all because people didn't have the resources. So if the top YouTubers were to make a business like that, they could share some of the money that they've been making to make studios, to make to also collab with videos and to help each other out in that aspect, all to like make money, obviously. But it was a good, smart idea. And also like Maker Studios just last year, I think. No, that wasn't last year. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. They sold to Disney. And for like, it was like $750 million. That's how much it rose.
It was just I remember this just massive deal going down, and tons of people like, oh, I guess now like blank is owned by YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Or by Disney. Blech.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was like this. It was like in terms of business, this was a very smart idea. It may have started. I'm not too big of a fan of the YouTuber collaboration stuff, because it was just like, hi there, I'm going to do the same kind of content I did, but I'm going to invite my friend to sit here just to get clickbait so they can click on my videos. And so you're like, wow, they're both together? This is a dream come true. There's that thing. But it was smart, like thinking about it just analytically. They had the right idea of doing that.
All right.
Yeah. But, okay. So they continue on from Makers. One of the people who was part of it, you may have heard of him. His name was Shane Dawson. Yep. So he's very interesting. Like, I didn't know anything much about him beforehand, but in terms of how YouTube works, he kind of changed a lot of shit. So he was also one of the few people, like very early on. He only made content for several months, but because of different things that he was doing, he rose like he had 2 channels in the top 10 most subscribed. Yeah, and at this point they've passed like 1 million subscribers. So it was a lot of subscribers. He had 2 channels. So he was very big very quickly. But so let me get into why he's interesting though. So he was probably the first YouTuber to begin collaborations like we were just talking about before. And so he would bring in people to just like, he did skits, so he would do skits with these people. And he was one of the first person to be, he would do topics that were YouTube centric. So he would be like, his most popular video, even to this day, is Fred is Dead. So what he would make fun of Fred. He did a skit basically like pointing out that Fred was kind of a stupid character. And at the end, he comedically shot him, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so he kind of brought... That kind of was the birth, more or less, of YouTube drama in a nutshell. So it was something where YouTubers would take like pop culture or other YouTubers like content and either make fun of it or bring them in for collabs. It was kind of weird, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. That kind of concept. It's everything like the popular vloggers nowadays. What they do. Shane Dawson was probably the first to do it. He was also the first to kind of introduce the bright colored, like thumbnails as well.
The children's background?
Yeah, that kind of background. He was the first guy to do that as well. And he would also he was kind of the first one to seriously use clickbait titles that like I said, like his most popular video is Fred is Dead. Fred was the top YouTuber. And that video, like, instantly got extremely popular. Like, what? Fred's dead? And this guy seems like he looks like Fred. I'm going to click on the video. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So he was more than anything. And I don't like that kind of content. I don't think you guys do either. But he was, like, the originator of, like, okay, if I can talk about the other people that are popular, people want to click on me, and if I can collab with the popular people, then we both can like benefit from that, from a collaboration. He was the first guy to kind of think of that concept as well, because before everybody kind of just did their own thing, like very much so. There wasn't any collaborations whatsoever between anybody, even though vloggers were like, the webcam vlogger was still a pretty big thing, like from 05 to 08. It was just different. It was more, you can tell he did it on purpose, yeah, I'm not too much to say about it.
So what you're saying is collaborations are basically only for money, because they wouldn't start if money wasn't involved in some way.
Yeah, and it's also just a mask to... Because the guy, I mean, he wasn't really funny at all, but he would just... His videos had no substance, but it was just like, oh wow, here's a YouTuber right here. I wonder what they would say about this. It was the beginning of being able to make empty videos, I guess. Something that really didn't have any much content involved, but was clickbait, but it wasn't... Like, he would sometimes use sexual things as clickbait titles, but the actual substance in the videos weren't sexual. Like in 05 and 06, right, where it would just be like some chick with her bra off and her hand over her nipples. Like, that's what literally 05, 06 YouTube was. That would, like, straight
right
up. But yeah, I mean, some people, I guess you can give props to him for that, but I mean, I never liked that kind of content, and I think most people, if they view it seriously, it was very lazy, and he was taking advantage of kids, basically, who wanted it, who, like, especially newer kids, like, who came to YouTube around 08, 09, they're like, oh, I know that person, too. Wait, what? I want him to work with him. I don't know. It was...
Okay. My question is, did he ever do a collab with the Annoying Orange?
I'm pretty sure he did. Oh, fuck the Annoying Orange. But I think Annoying Orange was more around... He got... Like, Shane Dawson was big for... Like, he's still big now, actually. He's one of the few guys who is still big. But Annoying Orange has been around for... I think he kind of came in around 2013. No, it was 2010-11. I'm wrong. But yeah. But anyways, yeah, let's keep on going past that.
Yeah.
But you'll hear more about his kind of like content. So basically, like he's the originator of the popular vlogger, or yeah, right, like the vlogger that like
vlogger with skits maybe or something.
Yeah, vlogger with skits because he, like I said, everything I brought up to you, like because he was the originator of all that, you still see it nowadays in content. But yeah, going off from that, in 2010, the biggest thing that happened then was the introduction of Vevo. And Vevo is insane. Like, in terms of YouTube, it's very crazy. Because 2010 had a bunch of extremely, like, even to this day, popular songs. Which I'll just list off a couple. Like, Justin Bieber, Baby. Lady Gaga, some Lady Gaga song. I don't know the names of them. And then Miley Cyrus, Party in the USA.
And in fact, Baby was like contested with Gangnam Style for getting to 1 billion.
Well, Gangnam got it first, but then
it got it first, barely.
Yeah.
And it was basically like people were like clicking on Gangnam just to beat Baby.
Yeah, at the very end, I remember that. They were just like, oh, we can't let Baby get 1 billion views first. But yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. It's actually insane. People were crazy about that stuff. But even though like Vevo was behind all these channels, like obviously the artists would make the music videos, but back in the days, most of the artists wouldn't upload the popular songs onto YouTube. Until Vevo came around and came to whatever music studios they're part of and be like, hey, we can we'll be able to put it on the platform and you get X amount of money off it because we know it's going to be successful. And they were right. Because like I'm like from now on when I'm going to talk about like the top subscribers, you had to just know in the top 10 most subscribed list, every single time there's going to be like 3 or 4 or maybe more Vevo channels that are up there. Even though they don't upload content whatsoever, people just subscribe to those musicians, like the biggest people in general.
Yeah.
But yeah. But
interesting.
The big thing about that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Do you think this might be like filling the gap of MTV?
In what way?
Just because music videos, people still used to watch them just through MTV.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. It was that for sure. The big thing though with Vevo is that I don't know. I feel like nowadays a lot of the people Vevo's still big, but like a lot of artists kind of upload their own content on their channel now. But back in the days, because they were all using the same channel, Vevo was just incredibly huge. And also what it did in terms of YouTube, it made music a popular trend to use. Because before there were some musicians, but like some of like the popular YouTubers would never really introduce music into their videos until they saw, oh wow, we probably should, if we want to stay relevant, we should also have like parodies of songs and everything else. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Was this around the time of... No, because Friday was... No, that was in high school. So yeah, Friday's around this time too.
Friday came out, I think, 2011.
That makes sense.
Either 2011. So that's the kind of thing where people are like, oh wow, music's popular. But like the big thing is like parody songs, right?
Yeah, Brock Stubbs and stuff like that.
Yeah. So channels that would be... But also, like, just skit channels in general. Like, Smosh and Niga Higa. Before then, they didn't really... I guess lip-singing was the thing. But, like, actual putting music into their songs or making parodies off these people wasn't that huge of a thing until they kind of took over YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So... Oh, yeah, no. So, Vevo was big. But probably the bigger thing was... the time, I don't know, do you guys remember the 10-minute time limit on YouTube?
Yeah. I remember, if you had a certain amount, couldn't you go past it, but it took a while?
No, until 2010, like no matter who you were as a YouTuber, you couldn't make videos more than 10 minutes.
Wow, Jesus.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I remember that. I remember YouTubers like celebrating the day that changed.
Yeah, because that really restricted the kind of content that you could make. You couldn't rewrite. You can make some written content, but not really. You had to go off like very short skits or very short Music videos obviously are less than 10 minutes, or you had to. It was.
Oh my god. Is this why there were like these uploads of movies that were like 9 minutes and 11 seconds?
Yes, 100%.
And like there were like 18 parts?
Yep, exactly.
Oh my god.
Yep, it changed a lot of things. But what it changed into was it went from a time limit to 15. But if you got your account verified, which just meant giving them an email at that point, you can make it as long as 2 hours.
Wow.
And that changed over time, but that was obviously the most dramatic one. And because of that, we got to see more different kinds of YouTubers that had like longer sketches, longer skits, just be able to make content for the platform and it's going to affect. We're almost hitting around 2012, and that really, 2012 in particular, it because of gaming that changed, and also because of another algorithm change, it changed YouTube completely.
Okay.
So yeah, going on to that, 2010, 2011 was also where we saw the rise of Ray William Johnson, our favorite YouTuber.
Yeah.
Ray,
Miss you, Ray.
and then Mr. Balls. Literally, so wait, it's clever. So these guys I don't like Shane Dawson as well, but you have to understand like how they rose is very interesting, at least for me. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I respect them. They figured out how it works.
that's a big thing with YouTube. The YouTubers that get big are the ones who figure out the loopholes. So what he introduced was basically the introduction to reaction videos, because he would like watch the clip and be like, wow, blah blah blah, balls, or throwing the baby on the wall because that's funny. But what he also brought, he was the first person to really like interact with fans. So that would be like, he would have the comment question of the day, where he would take a comment from the people, his fans, and put it on like his YouTube thing, and then he would show like different responses of what people said. And that was actually an interaction with the fans that people didn't see before. But like the most important thing was he was really the first place where you had compilation videos. So
Yeah.
So before, there was no subreddit, there was no channel that just uploaded 20 minutes of compilations of WebMs or Vines. If you wanted to see just the weird shit on YouTube and all in one place, it most likely came from Ray William Johnson, because his fan base was good at just like, they would send him like interesting videos, and for some reason no one had the idea before, so he can react to them.
Yeah. And I would almost say like, I think this was like an era of virality that he really cultivated.
Yeah.
And at one point, I remember it's like people were like literally posting like in their description, just like, hey, please send this to Ray William Johnson.
Yeah,
And
100%.
like, it wouldn't even have that many views before Ray. So he was really
He made
helping
things viral.
out these viral things, which was so crazy for the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his stuff was childish, but he did what he wanted to, and he did it well. And honestly, I watched him, and I enjoyed it when I was around that age.
Yeah.
Well, earlier we drew the comparisons to Equals to MTV, and what's interesting is Equals 3 is kind of like the YouTube version of American Funniest Videos in a way.
No, it is 100%.
Ray William Johnson was Bob Saget
That's
giving
a great-
us
He's the Bob
He's-
Saget for the younger generation, right?
that's crazy as it is. It's almost that comparison.
No, you're
Bob
right.
Saget, don't sue me for comparing you to Ray William Johnson, but
They're both as bad, dude. They're just awful.
it was.
I mean, you still gotta respect him, you know?
Yeah.
No, respect the concept, but so he also, his humor was like you were saying, it appealed. Like I liked him too, like Ray William Johnson, because he came out when we were like 14, 15. He told a bunch of ball jokes. Like his intro song was called "Doing Your Mom," because
Yeah.
I
mean,
he had
I had that Stereotype song on my iPod. Yeah, Ray was big. He was the #1 YouTuber.
oh yeah,
Like, he passed Smosh.
he's past Mosh, Fred, and all those guys, and he was
Yeah.
he was #1 for a good amount of years. Well, so he became #1 YouTuber back in like late 2010, and he was #1 until PewDiePie.
Oh my
But yeah.
god. That's
But-
crazy.
Actually, no. Smosh passed him first, then PewDiePie. But because Smosh was always like around, if they weren't first, they were third or second.
Yeah,
But
they've always been there.
for sure. What's the one thing I wanted to say about this dude? Okay, yeah, he, like I was saying before, his content was for our, when we were that age, around 14, 15. He was basing off our demographic. And what do you think was the biggest demographic on YouTube by far and away? Teenage boys. It was just, that was just true. That he knew it. Because he was like a 24, 25-year-old guy. He already graduated from college and everything. So so I doubt that was really his sense of humor. I really hope not. But you never know.
Yeah, playing to your audience. I mean, what? But didn't you? I remember reading through an interesting thing. Didn't he start as a political channel?
Yeah, he did. He started off because he had a degree in political science. So that's how he got his initial fan base, which was kind of small, where he would just be ranting against like different things politically. But then he realized, oh, I'm not getting big off this. I'm going to just, and my fan base sent me these videos. I'm just going to react to them. So it's
interesting.
Yeah.
So beyond what I said, it was kind of mostly luck as well. He was just like, no one had thought of that idea before. Like, oh, react to videos. Okay.
Yeah, and he was, like you were saying, the comment thing. I remember, I think interaction was a huge part of what made videos big, and he realized that.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably when they started kicking in interaction. But like, what, Philip DeFranco show? They were giving out like Xboxes every video for like the top comment randomly chosen.
That he only started doing. So we can go into Sexy Phil's channel, but before it took him a while before he used to just be a channel. He would just rant about things and be a dick. The only thing he would do was be like, wow, this politician here or this pop star, he was in the news, and he would just be like, oh, what a douchebag, or I don't know. He got a lot better later, but before, like back in the days, that's what he did. But like Ray William Johnson actually interacted with his fans before other channels like Sexy Phil. I should call him Phil DeFranco, but that's what his channel was. But yeah, before he did it, in general, and the thing is, Ray William Johnson was more comedic based, like, and Philip DeFranco really wasn't. He was just like, his concept was really just making fun of people. Like, if you go back, you can still see his old videos. It's just weird. He evolved over time, though.
And he notes it in like videos nowadays. Because I mean, I went away when he got super clickbaity, but he's been really straight and narrow lately, and I think he's really evolved as a creator.
Yeah, that's how if you want to be relevant on YouTube, you need to be able to follow, you need to be able to evolve. If you can't, then every single top YouTuber, besides the ones who have been able to, has gone off to existence. But that's why I don't really worry when you hear about like the Logan and Jake Pauls, because they're not going to adapt to anything.
What? Logan Paul is not doing daily vlogs anymore.
Yeah. But it's
Big
also,
news.
His channel.
Sure.
That's true.
He said he was gonna quit. He's like, yeah, I'm coming back. It's like, ah.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, a lot of them have done that before. But if you look, I've been looking at the Social Blade for like those two, and they've been losing subscribers. So it's gonna happen, guys. Like, that's the thing. No one back in the day knew that Ray William Johnson would like fall off the earth, but he did.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't talented. It really, like, either you evolve even if you're not talented, but if you're able to follow the trends, you stay relevant, or you're just good at doing what, like, that's the thing with Smosh, right? They are perfect at making comedy for people that are like teenagers and like a little bit older.
Yeah,
they're just good.
They have they're like Pokemon where they're cross-generational.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good comparison, which is kind of ironic since Game Freak took down their Pokemon theme song thing. But yeah, that's really, they were basically like the SNL of YouTube, and SNL still is relevant today. But yeah. So yeah, going off to because of the time extension, there was a lot more unique genres to come out of YouTube as well, because people could you could put more production value in because you had more time to show it off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we get like some channels like Epic Mealtime. They started to form, and like, believe it or not, like and that was like the first big food channel on YouTube at all. Like there was nothing before them, like at least anything that was popular. And even though they're kind of cheesy with their stuff because it was just like a bunch of stuff, but like that cost a lot of money to be able to buy like 1 million Whoppers or 1 million burgers or anything else.
Yeah.
And to be able, they had like good quality cameras and it looked cool. It was like the first time you saw an Epic Mealtime video, it was really cool. It's just like what their downfall was being able to adapt, because once you saw it like 2 or 3 times, it was like, okay, whatever. I know what you're gonna do. You're just gonna you're gonna put bacon on everything, right?
What's interesting is they've kind of come back in this new Facebook video age, but that's a whole like another conversation
100%.
to talk about.
Also, he has his own beef jerky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah. Yeah, he just really said he's going everywhere on every single podcast available to advertise his beef jerky.
Hey, yeah, he was on the H3 one, so
Yeah.
Yeah, H3 is really interesting to talk about as well, but we'll go.
we'll get to them.
Yeah, we'll get to them. But yeah, so because of the longer time periods, you would able to put more production, and also things that take longer in general, like gaming. But we'll get into that with 2012. But also like makeup videos. That's where they started like to rise. There was the first big makeup channel was Michelle Fan, and she because those things like take a while. Like I'm not too much of an expert with makeup, but like it takes, you couldn't make something like complex like in 10 minutes without really being able to show how to do it, because there's always like teenage girls who are not really good with makeup, right? So they needed to see like very detailed, like this is how you do it, you put it here, put it there, whatever. But yeah, that's where you also started seeing channels get big for that concept as well. But yeah, I wrote down here just as this is, I think, is something that we all like talking about. 2012 was, so sexual content obviously is always going to exist on the internet. And the clickbait's always going to be there, and it's always going to be benefit. If you use it, you can get a good amount of views. But 2011 in particular introduced video replies into into things, and with that also came the reply girls. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The reply girls who would I've been trying. The thing is, the biggest reply girls now have deleted all their content of their channel, so it's kind of hard to see what they did back in the days. but I saw a good amount of it. So basically, they would go on every single popular, like back in the days on YouTube, you can see what's the most popular videos of the month, of the day. What they would do is just literally go. They have no interest like in, it could be a gaming video, it could be a vlog, it could be some sport thing. They would just be like, oh, so this is what the video was about. I saw this guy, he looked cool, and they said this loud thing. So but it basically was just up showing their tits, and people would click on it because it was the ultimate clickbait. And the thing is with video replies, if you do it everywhere, then you would always see, like, you would look at the video reply, like, little container on the screen, and be like, oh, there she is again, there she is again, there she is again. And because we've gotten to the point that thumbnails were being edited for clickbait, you would always just one of them would just have like an arrow pointing to her tits. It was really insane. No, but so these reply girls are. And you guys are going to think this is stupid, but reply girls may have been the biggest change on YouTube. Like, because of them, it may have caused, like, the biggest changes on YouTube ever.
What?
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah,
you gotta explain your math there.
Okay, let me get into this. So, like, but before we get, I had a few things I'll just cover real quick. Oh, yeah, Ray William Johnson, 2011, he became the first YouTube millionaire. So that kind of just, that's a milestone, I guess.
Okay.
And also, like, the introduction of pop, like, we always knew about like music videos that were funny to us, like Numa Numa or A Chocolate Rain, but like the first, that 2011 was the first year where meme music became popular, I guess. Like, so when I say meme music, I guess it's saying like Friday by Rebecca Black, where everybody that you knew in school knew about It's Friday, partying, yeah, right? Remember, like everybody would just be singing that song. And
Every Friday.
yeah, every fucking Friday. And Young Cat as well. Because that's the thing. Before '08, before like 2010, that time, we may have known about like the Numa Numa guy and everything else, but it wasn't something you talked about like in school.
No.
Right.
Besides, well, I talked about Charlie the Unicorn in school. I remember that specifically.
But like with your group of friends, but it wasn't just like everybody.
Oh yeah, no.
Everybody talked about Friday. Every single person. They were like, "It's right." Like everybody was.
Yeah, they played it over the loudspeakers at school, and they wouldn't stop.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like that kind of the popular. I don't want to call it meme music, but it really. Nowadays in terminology, the way we use, that's what it is. That 2011 was like the first introduction of that.
Oh, and Nyan Cat. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and also by 2011, everybody in the top 100 subscribed channels had 1 million subscribers. So I should have mentioned. Oh yeah, Fred 08 was the first guy to ever hit 1 million.
Okay.
Quickly followed by Smosh, right? Like a couple, like a month or two later. But by to that, like 3 years afterwards, you had 100 channels with 1 million subscribers, and Ray William Johnson himself hit the 5 million mark. Too. So you can kind of see now, like in a very small span, like 3 years isn't that much, even though it's like there was only in 3 years, which was like the amount of time it took, which. From 05 to 08, which is the amount of time that it took for Fred to get 1 million subscribers, even though he did it in a few months. In 3 years afterwards, there was 100 other people, and then everybody in the top 10 had at least like 3 million. So it kind of shows you like the explosion. But like we're about to hit like the really big explosion now with 2012. So okay, so what I was saying before with the Reply Girls, so they were a problem, right?
Right.
People didn't like them. There was a bunch of people response videos to them be like, especially you guys know who Yogscast is, right?
Yeah.
They very adamantly hated him, but like so people brought it to YouTube's attention, and what this drove YouTube to be like, okay, you know what, these thumbnails with just pictures of. So I didn't really mention like the thumbnails too much, but almost all the thumbnails back in the days, even the most popular ones, were pretty much sexualized. It's just that after 2008, the content inside of them wasn't sexualized. It was just the thumbnails. But YouTube was pissed off, and they were like, okay, no, we're not going to let the sexual clickbait be
a thing.
Be a thing anymore. Which they failed at it, but we'll continue with it. But so what they did is they made the first really huge algorithm change, and this is probably the most important thing in YouTube's history, and about like what affected what is popular for YouTube. And it all happened because of Reply Girls. So the change was that in order for things to get on the homepage, on the trending and recommended channels, I think I think we may have a clip of this on. I don't know if we'll have a clip, but I'm definitely. This is all from MatPat, so the game theory.
This guy.
Like he knows a lot of shit about YouTube. He's done his research as well with the Wayback Machine, but he brought up the fact that we didn't bring up the fact because of Reply Girls. I kind of connected those two dots, but because sexualized clickbait was becoming a thing. Well, it was always a thing. What happened was that YouTube went from a video getting on those recommended pages from clicks. Like it used to be like if a lot of people clicked on a video, it was recommended on the homepage, on trending and everything else. They changed it to be retention time. Okay, so that means in retention time, you click the video and it's utter garbage, even though it's just like you leave. And so that means that other people won't be recommended those videos as well. So that instantly destroyed a lot of people on YouTube. Like it was the downfall for many channels, like Shane Dawson, who relied on like clickbait. It was like, oh, you gotta watch this because this YouTuber did this or whatever, and it instantly like killed them for now at least. So, but
nice.
So that also was the end of Reply Girls and everything else, because you would click on one and be like, nope, okay, this doesn't get recommended. This isn't on everybody's channel.
Oh my gosh, Diego, yeah, this is probably the biggest change. This is affecting YouTube now still.
Yeah.
Because it's gone from like Like, you used to only be able to make 10-minute videos, like you were saying.
Yeah.
10-minute videos are what you almost need to
Now.
be successful, because it's not percentage of your video watched, right?
Yeah. Well,
It's-
here's the thing. So that's going a little bit too further. So what the big change was retention time. So it's percentage. It was percentage of the video.
It wasn't just straight, like, if this video is
wasn't.
long.
No, it wasn't watch minutes. Watch minutes happened in 2015 as a result to this change. But let me get into that
Okay.
real quick. But in 2012, this change, what it did was it made it so that content that could be viewed like as a series popular. So like it'd be like if you were to watch this, if this channel uploaded like 5 or 6 things in a row in a series, and if you were to click, and if you wanted to watch all of them because you want to see what happens at the end, that's what became popular. Kyle, what is the content that has multiple parts, and in order to see at the end?
Oh man, I know this. It's the popularization of Let's Plays.
Yep, 100%.
Holy shit!
And that's also the popularization of gaming in general. That it literally
Episodic content that has a begin and end, and you can choose a series for it.
exactly.
It was, I don't know, this is a weird part to talk about, because this is like when it actually becomes
Yeah,
like TV, because you are essentially choosing, I'm going to watch this and like binge watch it
exactly.
practically, or keep up with it as it comes out.
And because of that, and when you did that, it made it so YouTube was like, oh, he likes this kind of stuff. We're going to give him more and more and more and more. And it made gaming a huge
And more!
and more and more. It got more. But it
I need to watch PewDiePie play, what was it, Happy Wheels for
Amnesia.
400 more hours.
Amnesia, Happy Wheels. But it's okay. So
Oh god, Amnesia, yeah.
So 2012 was the rise of PewDiePie. Like he made content before, but he started playing Amnesia in 2012. He made and he didn't do this on purpose. He didn't know. He always made video game content, but this is when he started making it daily. So this is the crazy thing. The reason why PewDiePie became big was because of this algorithm change. He would upload 2 to 3 videos a day, and they would all be part of series. So if you, like, at the end of the week, you would just watch all of them. And then YouTube would be like, oh, wow, this guy has huge retention time. People would watch through his whole series. We're going to recommend it to everybody. So in the span of 4 months, he had 3 million views, which was already, like, he was in the top 10, basically. Channels, which
Wait, 3 million subscribers, not views?
no subscribers.
Okay, yeah.
So he basically had like 3/4 of what William Johnson got in 3 years. It took William Johnson 3 years to get that, and PewDiePie got it in 3 months almost.
Interesting.
But then other gaming channels as well that I mentioned one before: Yogscast, CNanners, Blue Cephas, White Boy 7th Street, Smosh Games. Those guys as well. They benefited, but because PewDiePie had the most dedication to uploading videos, and he made his in series, which is what really gave him this start. And then once we get to 2013, it went up exponentially. Because here's the thing, he basically did this, he got pretty big, and then other channels would start doing it. So this made gaming in general popular. And because gaming in general was popular, then if you watch like another person playing Amnesia who may have been recommended to you on the homepage, then you look at your other recommended channels, then you get PewDiePie again. So his growth made gaming grow, and because gaming was bigger, it started, and we'll get that in later, that made his channel grow exponentially. But beyond that, 2012 was also huge for Oppan Gangnam Style, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit already. So and the reason why is the international appeal.
Yeah, there was also a change that, like, part of the reason, I remember this is from one of those game theory videos, but part of the reason why PewDiePie exploded specifically is because he's a Swedish producer.
Yep.
That he used to make stuff, maybe in Swedish, but he speaks English now.
Yeah.
And he also moved to another country, which was 3 factors that basically recommended him to everyone.
Yeah, so yeah, that was from MatPat. He was able to figure that out too. So that helped. That probably made him the biggest gamer. Like it made the algorithm made gaming the biggest, like Let's Plays the biggest thing on YouTube. But what you just said, the international stuff, made him the biggest one of those because people from around the world have been starting to look into YouTube. And here's the thing, and this may like Open Gangnam Style may have helped accelerate PewDiePie to the top because so I'm from Peru, right? So in South America, and I remember when that came out. I was in vacation in Peru visiting family, and I saw the media, the news. They were talking about Oppa Gangnam Style, which is a South Korean music video that in South Korean stuff was never popular in South America. Maybe in the United States because of weeps, or like that kind of stuff, and also because they have a pretty strong Asian American community in general. But like in Peru, there's nothing, like there's no Korean content at all. Why is this in the main like national news? They were talking about Oppa Gangnam Style, and that's insane. So because of that, this made like the international, like people aware of what YouTube was internationally. We all knew, but like other countries didn't really have, like before PewDiePie, there wasn't really any top YouTuber that was outside of the US. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So the music video Open Gangnam Style, like people, you only could watch it on YouTube. Then you're introduced to YouTube. Then, and if you're a kid, they're like, oh, I like games. And then you see on your channel, oh, he's playing a scary game. I like scary games. PewDiePie, there's another fan.
Oh, I just want to say something right now, just because.
Yeah.
This is in this era, the explosion of Slender Man.
Yeah, but that's also due to the thing I said before. They made Slender Man a series thing, so when people would watch, like honestly, like PewDiePie made, if no matter what PewDiePie would have played, it would have been popular, but he played scary games first, and because he played scary games first, it made scary games very popular for a while. So I would say that Slenderman's success was very much due to PewDiePie playing it and other guys playing it as well.
Okay.
But yeah, but that's also like you see it's a side effect of affecting a lot of things in general. So beyond that, you would think like what happened to the other channels that weren't gaming, that wasn't going to be uploading all this content over and over again, right? Like, well, obviously a lot of these guys, like Ray William Johnson started declining. A bunch of other people started to like decline as well because they couldn't catch up. But what a lot of these other channels would start doing is they would make second channels where they would upload.
They would play video games.
Exactly. They would. So that's like Smosh Games and a bunch of other channels as well. They or they would incorporate gaming into their like sketches or skits to try to get a little bit of that as well, right? So that was a big change as well. That's kind of like gaming, because of what the algorithm changed, it became a part of everybody's content. Okay, so from what I was saying before, 2013. So we go from this change, we have like the nucleus of like what was to come. But in 2013, sorry, we see it would like we see the massive explosion. So PewDiePie went from 3 million subscribers in that year to 20 million.
Jesus.
Yeah. There's other subscribers as well. Like Jenna Marbles went from, I think she had 4 in 2012 to 12. And then Smosh was somewhere like that as well. It was a huge explosion both because of gaming and both because of the international appeal to people as well. I feel like they're a bit intertwined, but either way, it made YouTube something that wasn't just US centric and made other people be like, oh, this is cool. And this is the thing and here's the thing. Most of the world knows how to speak English. Right. So these kids could see it. They understood what was happening and they liked it. So like once Open Gangnam Style introduced them, like, oh, what is this weird thing? Oh, that's neat. Now they understood the other videos that was already being made daily and was when they went on YouTube, what was being recommended to them in general. So that's kind of like, in a way, they were intertwined in that aspect. Oh yeah, so I kind of mentioned Jenna Marbles. So she was the first, I would say. There was female vloggers in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like webcam, where they would just stand there and say things. But she was the first one that was actually. Now maybe it doesn't appeal to me, but it was actually good.
Yeah.
Like she was pretty funny. She is like she still makes stuff. She's pretty funny, and she wouldn't be using sex to try to get teenage boys to clickbait. It was content made for other girls or teenage girls to watch. It wasn't anything it was just something where they could relate to that person, and because of that, her channel also exploded as well. Like she was the third most subscribed channel behind PewDiePie and Smosh, right? So
Dang.
that also shows the introduction of a female audience into YouTube that isn't just that's there to like get entertainment off the YouTubers because they could relate to Jenna Marbles. Also in 2013 was the was the extreme rise of international YouTubers. What I was saying before, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know anything about this. I only found out about this like this last week when I was looking through stuff. So probably a bigger explosion than even PewDiePie or Jenna Marbles was this guy called Hola Soy Herman. Have you guys ever heard of that person?
I looked into him a little bit after I saw your research.
Yeah, gotcha. What did you say, Carl?
Never heard of this guy.
Okay, so from 2012, he wasn't even in the top 500 subscribed channels. By the end of 2013, he was the fourth most subscribed. So that means he went from like maybe 50,000 subscribers to I think it was like 16 million. So that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I'm pushing this international appeal thing, guys, because it literally Open Gangnam Style literally exploded YouTube. Because then the Spanish audience had their one vlogger guy who would be super hype. His content's bad, but it was just like they had their equivalent of the American vlogger, I guess, right? And because of that, they're like, there's a bunch of Spanish countries in general and a huge audience. It shot him up immediately, and there was other people as well, like a guy called Wherever Tomorrow. But yeah, I digress there. So as we see these channels rise because of the big algorithm change and the international appeal, we see others fall. Like I was saying before, Shane Dawson was one, Ray William Johnson, and Epic Mealtime too. Thing with Epic Mealtime was, I think I was saying before, because it was gimmicky, and I think gimmicky could get big kind of on YouTube, but it will fall after a while. But yeah, so then 2014, we're almost done with it too. So we're getting because of these two concepts and more kids joining YouTube as well. What happened was basically 2014 was the year of Minecraft.
Oh, Minecraft.
Yes, Minecraft. This I also got a lot of information from this from MatPat's video for Game Theory, but okay, let me talk about Minecraft a little bit, right?
All right.
So Minecraft, it was made like around 08, 09. No, it was made around 2010. And other gaming channels were playing it. But the algorithm is what really like changed everything for Minecraft in general. Because I would say, like with all confidence, behind the music, just Minecraft alone is the biggest thing that's ever been on YouTube.
Okay.
For a while in 2014, literally, like this is actually in the Game Theory video, half of like every single, like you would go on your homepage and at least like half to 3/4 of all the videos you would see on your home screen were Minecraft, specifically
Jesus.
Minecraft, because because of the algorithm thing, retention time, you can make series off of it. Two, because you can have different mods in the game, so you keep things interesting. You can tell stories out of it. You can see music fucking videos out of it. We all know about the Minecraft music videos.
Yeah. So also part of this, wouldn't it be just the flexibility of Minecraft? Minecraft is kind of like you can do anything, so it can fit everyone in a way.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then the international appeal, they can play Minecraft too and do the same things I just told you. Storytelling, everything. That flexibility shot, like, based off all the conditions on YouTube, shot it up in such a weird way, guys. It's kind of like, think about it, like, half the things that YouTube recommended to you were just Minecraft. No matter who you were, you just get on YouTube.
Yeah, because it's related to everything. So,
Yep.
What a time.
Yep. And I kind of, here's the thing, and we know about like a bunch of like the cringy Minecraft stuff, right?
Yeah.
What you know about it, right, Carl? I know Kyle does because we always, me, him, Coulter, and Norton would always talk about it. But you knew about how bad it got, right?
Yeah, no, it got like, I didn't even think like there was no channel I could think of at the time that like didn't try to incorporate Minecraft in some way.
Yep.
And yeah, I think even Philip DeFranco did something with it at some point. I'm trying. He's like one of the guys who I followed through like almost all of YouTube. I'm pretty sure. I think I remember him doing something.
My Philip DeFranco news Minecraft Let's Play.
Hey guys, today in Minecraft, Billy killed me and took all my diamonds. Fuck Billy, am I right? Anyway, now time for Megan Fox news.
Yep.
Megan Fox, look at this pretty girl,
Yeah.
Jessica Negri.
Yeah, he literally.
She'll jump for me.
Yeah, he literally had a like fucking what was
Megan
it like?
Fox.
Yeah, he had Megan Fox news on
I
this thing.
still remember that.
Oh my
Yeah, just
god,
But
What?
Megan Fox. Jeez, not even around anymore.
Nope.
Blacklisted by Hollywood or something.
She?
I have no
That's
idea.
not part of this conversation.
no, but
Toe thumbs. That's what really did her in.
so like I was saying before, a lot of people abused the Minecraft, like to know, like it could be skits, it could be sketch channels, music. We know Minecraft was probably the first gaming thing that introduced music into it. That's where you get all the Minecraft music videos that are just horrible. They're like, I think I included some that we probably will have in this clip. Just we don't even have to show the audio. You could just show the kid fucking making it.
I have the spider.
I have the spider.
I love I have the spider.
But so here's the thing. Because of that, we see this algorithm change that they made in 2012 didn't really. Sure, it stopped some of the sexual clickbait, but it didn't make the content on YouTube any better, right? Which would
I actually just want to make a point real quick.
Sure.
I just opened some of Diego's notes, and it literally says everyone had beat the system. Every culprit was still Minecraft. Fucking MineX crafted. Shit is fucking everywhere. God damn it, fucking Minecraft.
Yeah, no, I watched a lot of Minecraft videos the last couple of days.
Oh boy,
it was everybody, dude. Every single motherfucker was doing Minecraft, and that pissed me off. Just because think about it, like these changes were meant to make YouTube better, but people, there's a thing with YouTube, like personalities. That's why I don't really respect them too much, because they're just gonna try to find a way to beat the system. They're gonna try to find a way to the loophole in order to be on that page. They don't care about making something that they like. That's why, like, that nostalgia from what I was talking about before. That's what I liked about it, because people just made whatever the fuck they wanted because they liked it. Dumb personally, but like because it became an industry that you could make money off and you can make a really good living, which fair enough. Like obviously do what you have to do, but it made it so that it just the things that people would mostly watch were just Minecraft, and they would do that, would go for the loophole, and I don't know. I don't think that YouTube will ever have really quality stuff. Like, there's always channels that may, like, I think I've talked to you guys about a few channels that I like that are trying things original. Maybe things that won't do that well through the algorithm, but things that they're at least fucking trying, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's the thing. You had to try to appreciate those channels because YouTube is software, and because YouTube can be manipulated. If you don't try to look for good stuff, you're not going to find it on YouTube. And yeah, I just want to talk about that a bit, because that concept, dude, like anybody new to YouTube, they would just look at YouTube. 3/4 of the page would just be Minecraft. And I like Minecraft. It's a cool game. But there's a lot of other things you can do with YouTube. And especially now that there's production value behind, that could get really popular as well. But people didn't care. They're going to abuse it. They're going to do what they can to be a top YouTuber. And that's not that much different from what like we have in 2018. So that's why I'm always kind of like pessimistic when it comes to stuff with YouTube in general, in terms of content. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you guys feel the same
makes
way.
sense, man. I mean, it makes sense to think about like YouTube content and being pessimistic about what's to come.
Because people want to be popular on YouTube because you can make a bunch of money. And the thing is, if you don't care about what you're making, that's easy.
But yeah, I mean, it's the exact same thing we see in like movies. You got blockbusters and they've all turned out to be the same fucking thing.
Over and over.
Over and over, but then, you know, you still have the good stuff, because every once in a while someone goes in and they care about what they're making, and they make something good.
Yep.
And that's the good stuff to watch out for. You'll always have the safe, mindless stuff to fall back on, but, you know, every once in a while someone makes something goddamn amazing. I think it's the same thing with YouTube.
Yeah, I think that's a very good comparison. But I also say that like Hollywood probably does that, but there's more good things on it. Like people complain about like, oh, this like about that, but like there's more good things that Hollywood's made. Like there's more variety than there is on YouTube. YouTube is always what you're always going to see when you get on, and this is like even this has been manipulated and twisted and turned in many different ways. But it's always going to be a how do I say? It's always going to be based off trends, but at least in a specific year, the top movie of the year may actually be really fucking good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's just how I feel about it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how you feel about just this. I don't want to say like the state of YouTube, but like that concept that we were just talking about.
I guess it's the thing is, yeah, if you only look at the top and judge it based on the top, then you're always going to see trends, what's big, what's common to everyone. But I think one of the great things about YouTube, and specifically YouTube with Patreon, is that you do start to see at these lower levels are like really good content creators that can make something specialized to you. And if you're willing to give them like Patreon, they're going to be able to do that even more.
But that's the thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Patreon was a godsend in that aspect, but it could only be like people are only going to be willing to pay for something like that for like a specific amount of time. After a while, they're going to get worried about their channel growth, because channel growth is always going to be something. If it's your livelihood, it's cool that like a select few people love it, but if you do still want to be able to grow and continue growing in order to maintain a secure base that way. Like every single Patreon YouTuber would tell you the same. Like it's really nice and it gives them freedom to do stuff, but it's still like they're like walking on eggshells still. And if they don't want to be on those eggshells, they have to like go with the trends. You just need to, because everybody else is.
If you think about it though, like artists always have this idea of, I can make what I like and what I think people want to hear, and it's always less people, or I can sell out. So you're saying that every YouTuber eventually will want to sell out?
But at least selling out, like, so here's the thing with YouTube selling out, everybody's selling out to specific categories. At least when you sell, you can sell out and sell your original, like your idea, like, because sell out means like you don't want any money, right? You still can want money. It's just that even really good creative ideas can't make money because it's dominated by the specific trends that YouTube recommends all the times. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's kind of...
Yes, but on the flip side of that, there's a channel that's literally like, there's a hoarder and his house is gross and he does like just walkthroughs of it. And I'm pretty sure he gets paid through YouTube somehow.
Oh, but what of it?
I don't know. I think things exist, and I don't know. With like, there are examples. Gus Johnson got big, and he doesn't fit the YouTube platform.
But
It's just
here's the thing: we think he got big, but he only has like what, 1 million subscribers.
he has 400,000.
He doesn't even have 1 million. So that means
Yeah.
he's making something. But the second that his fans leave, and that can happen like in any fucking moment. That's honestly, he's not even medium sized level YouTuber. He's a very small level YouTuber. You may like his stuff, but he's probably worrying every single fucking day how he's going to try to get big, because he needs to do, if that's where he's getting his money from, then it becomes, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we see it as like he's doing well, right? Because he is like, he's trying, he's getting subscribers and stuff, but it's not sustainable. It's not like it's really hard to like not have a sustainable YouTube career without following trends. I don't want to say sell out, because all of them want money anyway, so it kind of is selling out either way.
Right.
Because like I said, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, and mine's a separate point to make. I just want to make it super quick. Gus Johnson is kind of popular, just not YouTube popular, closer to like YouTube haiku popular.
Yeah, and that's a very small. Like, that's microscopic compared to what YouTube is now. Because remember what I said, the 100 most viewed videos dude on YouTube have billions of, like, multiple billion views. Right. So like, if you can have one thing, 1 million views, I mean, it's nice, but on the grand scheme of things, of being able to keep things sustainable, it's kind of weird. And so people have to sell out because of how the algorithm works. I don't know, but let's keep on going. I just kind of wanted to talk about that, and I guess we can definitely talk about that in a future podcast easily. I can bring up more specific examples.
Right.
But yeah, so then we're almost done at this point because we're in 2015. I just wanted to emphasize that there's a shitload of Spanish YouTubers that you guys don't even know that are the top 15 channels most subscribed.
Yeah, I've heard about this from Louis, my roommate.
Yeah, none of them are good, by the way. It's just, I've watched all of them like just recently, and I understand what's going on. So it's just like, okay, that's neat. Also, 2015 was kind of the year where we see a bunch of medium level channels begin to grow, and they're I call them like the tag channels, because they're the ones who would they mostly appeal to like teenage girls again and gay guys. About different things like makeup, different challenges and tags or whatever. That's what they call them. But they would be very emphasized on the collaboration kind of thing, and they would all have the same style. They would have the little music in the background where they're talking like, "Hey guys, today we're gonna do try not to poke yourself challenge." I don't know, like that kind of shit. Like,
the challenge tag videos.
Yeah, exactly. So those guys got like a couple million subscribers. Like examples of that is like Zoella, Yuya, Tyler Oakley, those kind of channels. Grace Helbig.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember one of them. One of them, like, isn't one of them like there's a Dean and Phil or whatever?
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Dan and Phil.
Dan and Phil, that's who it is.
So they kind of they came up around 2014, 2015. Because of a specific thing, and now those are kind of like, people think they're big YouTubers, but in the grand scheme of things, they have like 3 or 4 million subscribers, whereas the really top, like the big guys, are at least around like 20 million at least currently. But regardless, they still make a good living off it and everything else. But what did I want to say? The reason why these channels started to grow is because YouTube, from what I was talking about, and I forgot to say it at the end, YouTube got sick and tired of Minecraft being the thing that was on your recommended page, so they nerfed gaming.
They nerfed it.
I love that explanation. Gaming has been nerfed.
Nerfed gaming, and I came
from one of the patch notes.
Yeah, and Matt Pat from Game Theory, he kind of brought it up. Like, so they nerfed gaming completely. So, and not that it wasn't big. You still see big gaming channels, especially you see with Fortnite. It's just that they made like a limit at how big it can get. So
interesting.
If they would have not, you know, Yogscast, right? They would have surpassed PewDiePie at this point, because Minecraft, like, if your content was solely Minecraft, it was getting that big. It was crazy. Oh yeah. So they nerfed it. So now we're seeing growth in other aspects as well. So that now these vloggers and personality types have come back in play, and like adopting from the guy I mentioned before, Winecone, you kind of they're doing the same thing again and again. They're just making sure that they add the trends or whatever challenges into their content as well. So
Okay.
So here's the last thing. Sorry, this probably ran a bit longer than I thought.
That's all right.
2016. Because I do want to talk about this year and last year, but I feel like we can make that like a huge topic on its own, because everything current from those things are on our mind right now. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
We know about that all. And so I won't have to do this much preparation. So for 2016, the things that we're talking about before, there's three concepts in general that exploded. The weird kid channels that are like the Elsa and whatever shit, and also like the toy channels, life hack channels, and international music. So kid channels are like Ryan's Toy Reviews, and there was another channel called Little Baby Bums. So, and they would just be, I think you guys know about it, because like H3 made videos about the My Dubs have and everything else. So they would just have little kids play with toys or do anything else. The big reason why they got big is also because of the nerf of gaming channels, because little kids, if they were probably the biggest audience for most of these gaming channels. That's why you had like a bunch of the Minecraft things were specifically like dedicated to kids that were under like 8, right?
Right.
So once they made it so you didn't get as much gaming and Minecraft recommended to you, kids would have to start using the search bar. Or YouTube, I forgot, yeah. YouTube Kids, the app got made around this time period. I think it was late 2015. And because of that, they would, a big thing with the YouTube Kids is they would not recommend gaming stuff at all anymore. And it'd be like these tags for kids, like Frozen, Disney, Elsa, Spider-Man, Joker, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So but what I'm trying to say is that nerf basically drew all the kids' attention from games into really weird shit.
Screwing up future generations.
Amen. But at the very least,
There's going to be a year of like 2 years where it's like, all right, these kids are just fucked.
Yeah, they are. That's 100% going to be that. But that change happened because of YouTube. Like they kind of, once again, their algorithm changed like what kids watched, because before it was mostly Minecraft. I don't know. Do you guys have little nieces and nephews?
I have a couple like kid cousins.
Yeah. So like for 2014, 2015, they would always just watch Minecraft stuff. But now I have even younger relatives, and now I see them watch that really strange stuff. Okay, and then going really quickly, life hacks. So that's like Mr. Gear. You guys remember Mr. Gear, right?
Yeah.
He was the hot knife guy, right?
Yeah. So how that got big is because YouTube, like, once again, changed some things where they would add like, if something a video got popular on Reddit, it got recommended more on YouTube, and there was Reddit boards where people like the 1,000-degree knife cutting through a Coke can. It got really big on Reddit, so everybody, like, that's the big thing with the Mr. Gear. Everybody got recommended that channel because of the addition to the algorithm that had to do with popular Reddit things. That's also how H3 got big. But he's honestly like, do you guys think H3 is a big YouTuber?
Not
Depends. Yes, I think so. He has a lot.
I think he's popular, but I don't think he's like a big YouTuber.
He appeals. This is the thing. You have to be careful about how he's like. This is what I learned doing this research. A lot of the YouTubers I like, they're not that big. They're just I like them. Like H3 really has he has 2-3 million subs, which is good. It's big, but you compare it to other guys and a bunch of things internationally, then it's not like, if you're thinking of the grand scope of things, he's not that big. Not that he doesn't make a good living off it. It's just that that's just a thing. Yeah, but going back, sorry. Reddit was a big influencer in channels that were starting to get big around 2015. The biggest were because of life hacks. One, because of people really loved it on Reddit, and two, because once they found out the things that people liked on that got viral, it was very easy to make more and more of that content over and over and over again. So you could just do 1,000-degree knife cutting through a Pepsi can or my table or whatever, right? And
Interesting that that's under life hack.
Yeah. But
Now, question: did the hydraulic press channel get big before or after this?
before.
Okay.
Yeah, but especially the 1,000-degree knife was the biggest, like bigger than the hydraulic.
Yeah.
But it was just also due to being able to. Oh yeah, in 2015 they also changed the algorithm to be focused on watch time, which is what we were talking about before. So it's not retention anymore. Well, retention was part of it, but also dependent on longer videos. That's why everybody started making their videos longer than 10 minutes all the time.
Well, the 10 minutes is also so they can do pre-roll or mid-roll ads.
Yeah, exactly. So they can get money off it as well.
Yeah.
But it also just helped them in general to be recommended, so they can get more of those ads as well.
Okay.
And then also just international music channels. So right now, I think I told you, Kyle, but so there's this channel called T Series, and it's basically the Indian Vivo, but instead of it being separated between like every single major pop star, it's all in one channel. So right now, they're at 2018. They've grown so much. They're on pace to be able to beat PewDiePie by the end of the year.
Wait, question.
Yep.
Is it even with Tunak Tune?
No, it's not fucking. No.
Phew.
No, but like Hindi music, like Hindi people, well, Indian people like music a lot. Like
Yeah, they do.
So
Their culture is very much around it with Bollywood and whatnot.
exactly, like most of their content. So if you put everything music related onto one channel in the country that has the second most people in the world, obviously
The whole country is going to watch it.
the
Yeah.
whole country's gonna watch it, and they're slowly but surely subscribing more and more. They're most likely gonna pass PewDiePie very soon. And this isn't just true in India; it's also true in Brazil, Russia, as well. There's a bunch of channels that came around in 2016, because music has always been popular on YouTube, but now because of the international appeal that has been there for a bit, now they're starting to like show how many people truly like music in those countries, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So like that's there's like Brazilian music channels, there's German, and those are honestly like those are low channels right now that are in the top 10 most subscribed right now. But yeah, anyways, yeah, I think beyond that, that's how I wanted to, and there's like we can get into 2017, 2018, but I feel like that's a podcast for another time.
Sounds good to me.
Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say? Or if you guys thought of something after all the shit that I just talked about?
So I guess just a quick summary. So YouTube, originally you didn't make money. It was the Wild West of the internet in the time where softcore porn and other things flourished.
Mm-hmm.
After a while,
Still vaguely does.
yeah.
In a way.
After a while, they started to actually get to make money in Maker Studio, and things came out of that.
Yep.
And then there was the big. Like if you were to split up YouTube into BC and AD. That would be the gaming switch that they turned on one day, where they changed it from clicks to watch percentage.
Correct.
And now finally it seems like they've figured out, they've nerfed gaming hard.
Yep.
And you can see the ripples of that throughout the community.
Yeah. So they've just put a limit to it, and they've also just made it so it's not recommended, which is probably it nerfed it pretty badly. And like I was trying to get through with the last thing I was talking about, but my throat's starting to get a bit sore, so I kind of rushed through it a bit. But like life hacks and kid channels very very benefited from the nerfing of gaming channels around 2015, which is why they got so huge.
Interesting. Also, didn't it? And then there was a Reddit change too that created certain different types of channels, like H3.
Yeah.
For sure. But
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's all really interesting. It's all good. I feel like overview of everything that happened to YouTube.
Yeah, and I know obviously if anyone's listening, they can easily point out, "Oh, you missed this, this, and this." But give me.
Well,
Give me a
there's
bit
no
of a
way
break
you
there.
could possibly hit like every single little thing that happened in YouTube over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to focus on big trends with the top 100 YouTubers of every year, and there's some things that are far more evident than others. And like a big thing too, like I want to make sure, like, because I want to make a podcast for this year and last year and probably a bit of 2016. Now YouTube is so huge that there's so many micro communities that probably think that their like favorite YouTube people are the biggest thing on YouTube. But at this point, it's just, I don't know, it's incredible. Like there's like, I think if I remember writing, there currently as of May, there is over. Let me actually see if I can find it. I think there's over like 5,000. No, there's over like 10. No, it was like 8,000. Over 8,000 channels that have 1 million subscribers.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they're, like I said before, and they're still growing. Like people say, oh, YouTube. Like a bunch of YouTube people that are medium sized, they would tell you, oh, YouTube, you can't really get big on YouTube anymore. That's bullshit. People are all the time. That's the biggest bullshit thing I've ever heard. Really. Like, I know Keemstar said that. Like, oh, you can't really do anything. Like, fuck you. No, you just barely got 2 million subscribers, douchebag. But, yeah.
Yeah, he exploded with Logan Paul.
Yep. Oh, yeah, we'll get into drama. I kind of really don't want to do a drama podcast to explain why even the people who are super against drama on YouTube are benefiting from it thoroughly. But, yeah.
Okay, so I guess this will be the end. Should we just do a quick, like, that's the end?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
one thing I wanted to bring up more is just like, should remember, reply girls are what made PewDiePie. That's
hell
all.
yeah.
That's all that.
PewDiePie.
Yeah,
No, remember where you came from.
exactly. That that algorithm change is what made gaming huge, and yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Okay, sounds good. Great podcast, guys.
Okay,
Sounds
guys.
good.
That was fun.
Yeah.
See you next time for when we talk about